But we will not talk about race. We are talking about recession today as if this is happening today. But for people of color and for immigrants and refugees, it's been happening for 30 years. And it's going to continue to happen if we don't acknowledge and actually put it on the table. So tomorrow's green jobs are not going to be available to those immigrants who've gotten their skill set someplace else if we don't put in specific mechanisms to translate those skills and equivalencies into those green jobs. Because then we'll be too brown to be green. So the thing is that we've got to be careful. We've got to talk about race for what it is. In Canada, we have a structural problem where race gets in the way of people achieving what they are capable of achieving. And this is happening at a time of economic boom, not just recession. In times of recession, if we get screwed, we have an excuse, right? Because a lot more people are getting marginalized. Now, what are we doing? The other question that was asked by the organizers today, well, one of the things I'm involved in is Color of Poverty, which is a campaign, pretty much like this one, which has two aims. One is to actually organize people of color around issues of, that they are facing. The other is to actually bring a racial equity outcome lens to the poverty reduction strategy. I am so afraid that when I die and I get to if I ever get to the gates of paradise, they'll be copyrighted. I am convinced that's what's going to happen, because poverty reduction strategy, if it is going to come up with genetic policies and genetic strategies, it will address people of color because so many of them live in poverty, but it will not address the reason why they became marginalized in the first place. And that is what I'm trying to address here. When we talk affordable housing, when we talk jobs, when we talk EI, who are the people who don't qualify? And why don't they qualify? And even if they qualify, why don't they get it? Like, those are the kinds of things that we have to recognize as being more than just economic recession. It is a racial phenomenon that we've had entrenched in our society for a very long time, but you refuse to acknowledge because it's so inconvenient. The other thing that is happening is that not only immigrants and refugees and people of color are becoming marginalized, but they are being structured into our economy in a particular way. All this time that we didn't have economic recession, they were ending up more and more in precarious and contractual jobs, which is not a ticket to stability and riches. I don't know about you, but I think women know that. Women have always ended up in temporary precarious jobs, and it does not lead to a house on Bridle Path. Hell, it doesn't even get me to Rosedale, that ethnic enclave in which I have been wanting to live for a very long time. But I instead end up in Mississauga. The other thing that is happening right now, therefore, is Bill 139. We need to put our emphasis into the fact that Bill 139 is trying, at some level, to regulate. And the good thing is, people can say regulation without being shot at. I mean, they're trying to regulate temp agencies, because temp agencies have become a phenomenon unto their own. And when somebody goes through the temp agency, they don't qualify for Employment Standards Act, because the employment relationship is so different. They can't even unionize the same way. We need a different organizing strategy for precarious and temp workers. So we need to think differently, because immigrants and refugees are not just being marginalized because they're not getting jobs, but they're actually working poor. They're actually getting jobs in that growing part of the only thing that's growing in our economy is precarious work. And even that we are losing now. So first on the line to be totally unemployed and not just underemployed are going to be the same people that have not benefited from Canada's either economic boom and are going to be the first one to suffer from the recession. What must be done? I personally urge you that when you do your work and when I do my work, we've got to talk about race. Let's not shy away from it, because race is a critical factor. It may be inconvenient and it may not figure in your life, but let me tell you, it's much harder to live it than it is to talk about it. And most of the people that I'm dealing with are actually living it. So you talking about it should not be such a problem. And I think it is very important that if we are going to go ahead and we are going to talk about strategies to deal with this economic recession, that we don't end up creating new racialized regimes for marginality in the future. Because capitalism's capacity for reinventing itself and creating new forms of marginality is remarkable. It's remarkable. It ain't never gonna die. The other, of course, we should be asking for raising the minimum wage. I mean, I believe it has been raised to $9.50? That's still below poverty line, man. It should be raised to at least above $10. And that's not asking for much. So that's another thing that I think we can work towards. And I think that to end on a positive note, because I am a generally cheerful and positive person, it is also the time when asking the government to get back into governing is not a dirty issue. You know that free market God that was going to determine all our, and make us so happy has gone away. Is on a holiday. I think it's going to come back. I would like to say it's dead, but I don't think so. I think we'll be too quick to write his obituary. However, what we can say is right now the market God is on a holiday. Governments can be asked, if private sector can ask governments to bail it out, you and I sure as hell can ask the government to actually start investing in our welfare. So I think that there is a moment of opportunity where the nature of the discourse has changed. And I think we can talk about things like regulations, like government investments in social welfare, like government intervention in terms of protection of workers and EI, etc., that we probably didn't have before. And if you think our federal government is out of step with it, you know what to do. We do live in a democratic society, last I heard. So the thing is that I think we have a moment of opportunity where we should ask our elected officials to actually step up to the plate, but please, not to the exclusion of the issue of race, because I don't want my son and daughter to be standing here in 10 years' time saying exactly the same bloody thing, and they'd be Canadian born. Thank you.